Hello and welcome to another for art video. We're going to do something that I like to do a lot, which is one, we're going to do a sky that's like a sunset sunrise, and then we're going to put a silhouette in front of it. And I'm doing an ACEO again. I do sell ACEOs, and if I like the way this comes out, I will put it up for sale. So that's why I'm making sure I'm using my good stuff like my Daniel Smith paints. And I'm going to just put a very light coat of water on my card. This is watercolor paper, 140 pound, 300 GSM cold press paper in a 2.5 by 3.5 inch size, which is what makes it an ACEO. Right, that's the number one thing, is that it's this small little trading card size. Okay, so for our sky, let's see. So I have some new gamboge, give a nice glow above the horizon. And then let that move into some transparent pyro orange. And then up top, I'm gonna let it turn blue. I'm gonna use the French ultramarine and just a little bit of that, and bring it down and let my brush swipe over the blue and the pyro orange. Give the sky a little shadowy cloud look. And let me see. I'm going to take a little bit, actually more of the new gamboge, and put it here between the transition of the blue and the orange to kind of soften that up. All right. But now I'm going to use my heat tool. Sometimes I call it a heat gun. It's really just a heat tool, right? And I'm going to dry this, and then I'll be right back. Okay, now that this is dry, I'm going to add some terrain. And I want the terrain to be a little bit hilly, so I'm gonna kind of follow where the sky goes up and down. And for this, I'm gonna start with a light bit of, I'm gonna mix a little of the what's that, quinacridone burnt orange, I believe, for a little bit of that warmth, and then a little bit of the burnt umber. And then we'll just put this down here. Just kind of going, I'm going to go kind of with, again, like I said, where the sky goes up and down, because I want this to be a hilly terrain. And now that first bit, I'm going to go ahead and dry again. And now I want my terrain to be a bit darker. I just want it like kind of a warm hue behind it, because I'm gonna try to like skip a little bit and let some of this base color for the ground to show up. We'll see how it goes. And yeah, I want this to be dark, so I'm gonna take some of this undersea green. I'm gonna just add it to that first mixture we had. Yeah, that's perfect right there. And now it's gonna put some of that down. Yeah, and that's what I'm going for. It's just kind of like a mixed, kind of uneven terrain. hopefully, once I get my silhouettes on, the bit of that does show through will just make it look um, like a diverse and, I guess, like, textured sort of terrain. Not exactly textured, but, like, like, there's just different things going on the ground. Maybe there's some twigs, maybe there's some, um grass or leaves, but I'm not really, like, doing, like, scratching or etching or anything to make texture. I just kinda want the different colors to imply things, like there's shadows of what's on the ground. We'll see. I might be, like, overthinking this a whole lot, but, we'll see. Alright, so let this dry, or I will use my heat tool, and, I will be right back again. Not that you can tell I'm going anywhere, right? I'm, like, cutting the film and coming back, but I'm letting you know what's happening. And now I've got out some ink. The one that I have open is Bombay Black India ink. This is light fast, it is waterproof, and I'm going to use this very inexpensive paintbrush to apply it. I don't want to put ink on my good watercolor brushes, so I always have some inexpensive brushes on hand to do the dirty work, and I'm very grateful to them. So let me just move this up here. I think that'd be better for me. Okay, and then let me move this here. Okay, and now I'm going to start adding some trees. Okay, so just trying to make them look like craggly and yeah, maybe a little eerie, but I don't like this branch, so I'm gonna put a tree here and cover it up. Particularly wiggly, craggly little tree. what I'd like to do is darken some of this foreground. So maybe the bottoms of my trees aren't all so pronounced. So just maybe like a little watery ink. Just let it kind of shadow up some of this area. All right, let's let this dry. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take, I really like using P.H. Martin's pen white. And I'm going to put a little bit of that on my paper, but I want it to have a little bit of tint to it. So I'm going to add a little bit of paint. And I'm going to use the burnt orange again, right here. Get a little more of that. Give this a little tint. And then I'm going to cover most of this up. I'm just trying to add a little more something to the foreground, hopefully implying that there's like some leaves or other kind of foliage or twigs or something down at the base of this image. So I'm going to see if this is liquidy enough to splatter. I might have to add some more water. And also, let me just cover that as well. Yeah, it's splattering, but my aim seems to be off. Hold on. I think it's this brush. Let me try it with this brush. I think this is going to go better. If I have enough mix left at this point. There we go. There we go. Okay. Alrighty. Just the first few times I pretty much got it everywhere but where I wanted to. And now the only thing that I'm thinking is, do I want to add any highlight to the trees anywhere? I feel like mostly the light is coming from behind the trees, not from like one side or the other. So I'm not sure. If I start adding highlight, I might start putting this all in the wrong direction. So I think for this one, I'm going to go ahead and leave it right there. Some might find it beautiful, some might find it eerie. I find it a little bit of both. I hope you had a good time, and I'll see you next time. Bye.